Hey, once again, this is Kevin. I'm kind of continuing my series of ancient armies. There's a few left, probably about 5 or 6. I thought I'd just go ahead and get that done and then maybe move into biblical or maybe Napoleonic or Civil War. Oh my God, just so confusing. So many different wonderful things to do. But if you want to text me, or send a message and tell me what you'd like to see, that might help me. Anyway, Thracians. Thracians, Dacians. I guess they've been called a lot of different names through the ages, but they probably started somewhere, Iron Age, 800. But I'm really kind of focusing more on the time between 600 and 100 during the Homeric period, Archaic period, Classical. The Persians used these warlike people for their invasion of Greece and formed a part of his army. And, they were around the, Black Sea region, let's say Bulgaria, Romania today, some in the Ukraine and Russia, pushing right down onto the top of Macedonia. I really enjoyed building this army. I mean, you can use them and morph them into anybody's army, Romans, Persians, Greeks, fight against them, which is pretty brutal. But very, very sophisticated culture. Wonderful. If you do a lot of reading, there's a couple of really great books about them. But, they're classified as barbarians to most. But if you look at how they lived, they were anything but barbarians. But they were really fierce in battle. More light, medium troops. And you'll see by my pictures coming up of how I painted the army. I really spent a lot of time. And this is a beautiful army of just unbelievable color and depth. So I'm really excited about showing them. But if you're interested in painting a Thracian army, you don't have to paint a big one. It can be a small one, and you use it as contingencies for everything else ancient. They really fit in great as skirmishers or anything else. But there's really different time periods. You've got your Roman Thrace period, you've got your Macedonian Thrace period, early Persian time. So you can paint them maybe a little bit differently from time to time, but really is a very, very colorful, fun army to play with, hard to catch on the battlefield. They keep evading constantly and throwing spears and attacking when you're weak. So anyway, hey, let's take a look at what I have here and see if you like it as much as I do. Hey, okay, so let's take a look at this Thracian army. It is probably one of the nicest armies that I have. Don't ask me why. They're very colorful, very interesting, and it's not a large army. Probably because it was so difficult to paint, but I'll just give you just a kind of a little bit of an overview. It's very heavy, light, medium infantry. It's got a little bit of skirmishers involved, and it has some cavalry, and it has a good force of troops that really pack a punch. But I think that in its entirety, it is just a wonderful army to play. It really takes a lot of finesse and a lot of a different kind of a play style. And I might go into that a little bit. But historically, they were pretty tough to beat. Alexander found them much more difficult than he thought. But I'll go in a little bit closer here. I just wanted to give you an idea of what it looks like kind of as a macro overview. I mean, I hope you guys are getting this, how beautiful this army is, and the patterns and the colors. Oh my God, even seeing them again makes me want to get out there and play. They say that you're not supposed to show 15mm figures really super close. And they're probably right. But I think that in this particular case, I'll keep it at this distance, and you can see these are all xyston miniatures. And the shield patterns and the colors used. I try to do as many earth tones as possible. That's how this was painted, and with a little bit of an artistic bend to it. But here you get the light, medium infantry, and the spears were drilled out of the hand. And a lot of people ask, well, where did you get the spears? And those are actually from pins, you know, like stitching pins, and you just pull them apart and snip them. So one part you lose and the other you keep the pointy piece. But if they make for great spears, you don't have to buy them, you don't have to file down the edge. If you just use a clipping pin, that's how you get that. And but you can see, you know, it's very colorful, very artistic, a lot of really nice colors that kind of blend well with each other. And I think it looks just fantastic. But wait till you see what they look like with their capes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn them around in a minute and let you see the real artwork. Okay, so this is what they look like from behind. So the capes are very, very elaborate in their designs, which this is not a part of the army that you want your opponents to see. You want them to see the other side. But I think that it goes without saying that it just really looks colorful, beautiful, and the Thracian people had a great sense of design, and you really need to keep that. It's not just plain cloaks. If you look at a lot of the manuscripts, and of course there's some artistic license here, but I think they just look stunning. So I'll take some still pictures and we'll take a look at them. You know, but the other part of the army is you know, skirmishers, you know, slings, bow, javelin, and the rest. And then there's a small contingency of light cavalry, and kind of Scythian looking in origin, but I tried to, you know, do that here as well, give you some colors, and I think that they turned out also extremely nice. And yeah, I think they've just tried kind of hard to grab them and look at the camera at the same time, but don't they look nice? I think they turned out pretty nice, and I like the xyston figures. They're not too big. They look good, and very nice. And so here, if you take one of these, you can kind of see a little bit of the shield patterns and how they look in general. So I think it's a really, really nice figure, and mean on the table if you know how to play them. So they've got a bit of a heavy cavalry contingent, just like one unit or maybe two smaller units, depending on the rule set that you play. And I've only got two generals with them because they had a little bit of a command and control issue. So I tried to kind of reflect that by not having as many commanders. And you know, then they've got a contingency of light cav with javs, also very, very nice in their color patterns and how they look. And so I hope you like them. They look, I don't know, they look kind of impressive on the table. So I think, you know, one of the things people, you know, look at when they ask me about how I do basing, and I learned this from a dear friend of mine, and basically the bases are pretty simple to do. I just take glue them down to the stands, and then I just paint a darker put sand, I put glue, and then I put a kind of a light sand on the bases. and then I just paint over with a darker color, either dark gray or a dark brown, depending on where they are, and then I just do a lighter color, more of a sand color or a dirt color, as a dry brush. That's basically it, and then I just put some tufts down. It really goes pretty quickly, but I think it just looks good. It doesn't take a lot of effort, but it looks good. On the play style of these guys, the reason that I really like this army is, one, it can be used as mercenaries. So I can put it into a Persian army, I can put it into a Greek army, I can put it in Macedonian or Roman. I mean, a lot of different armies that you can use these with. But what I thought is, they really thrive on hilly, uneven terrain, forests, and they evade. I mean, they're light, heavy infantry, and so if you get even close to them, they can pack a punch with throwing spears, and they can evade and keep moving back. And all of a sudden you have them on your flank and on your rear and on your sides, and you can't even get them to blows. But when they do, you're already softened up, and they're ferocious fighters. They really have, they're tough. And so I kind of like the army. It's fun to play with, and it's fun to put them into a mercenary mode where you might have 2 or 3 of these units fighting with Alexander, or with Lycimede, or maybe one of the successors, or with the Persians, or something like that. So it's fun to mix and match, and I love doing that. Well, anyway, I hope you enjoyed my mini Thracian army, and yeah, until the next one, take care. Well, I hope you enjoyed this army and its presentation. I'm going to get on to the next one here coming up, the Italian allies of Italy.